This is yet another example of the broad issue that plagues so many historians out there who deal with oral histories. I explained all this in Season 1, Episode 5, where I talked about the issues of doing historical research on a museum ship and dealing with secondhand accounts from people. You can't believe everything you hear. Believe only half of what you see and pretty much none of what you hear. This is also an example of why making videos is much more frustrating than just writing about it on a blog, because you can easily just go back into the blog post and edit it, but here I need to make a separate video just to correct some misinformation that I said. So in my 2-hour-long tour video where I walked everyone through the boat, I erroneously mentioned that a corpsman on a submarine has 15 weeks of medical training in the Navy. Now that's true. But there is more to it than that to be a corpsman on a submarine. Now, I have heard some people say that, oh, if you're going to be a submarine corpsman, you need to do a year with the Marines as a corpsman, but that's actually false. So right here and now, let's correct some of the information and find out what's actually required to be a submarine corpsman. I had a chance to meet a submarine corpsman and asked him about the additional training required. And here's the thing, I made that video on my tour before I met this person, so he filled me in on some of the details. Another corpsman left an informative comment on the video giving further explanation. So after doing a pretty simple Google search, I found out exactly what it takes to be a corpsman on a submarine. So take your average person who's done their 14, 15 weeks of training and become a US Navy hospital corpsman. Now say that this person wants to serve on submarines. According to the US Navy Medicine website, this person needs the following prerequisites in order to become an independent duty corpsman on a submarine. So they need to be anywhere from an E5 to an E7 hospital corpsman. That is, they need to be at least a petty officer second class. They cannot be more than 30 years old, although age waivers are accepted. They must be physically qualified for submarine duty. It's recommended that they have around 60 hours of documented direct patient care, and they need to have letters of recommendation from the senior enlisted leader and a submarine independent duty corpsman. The course of study for a submarine independent duty corpsman is 63 weeks long. It includes 6 weeks at the basic enlisted submarine school, and the additional independent duty corpsman curriculum is 8 weeks of study on radiation health and 44 weeks of study on clinical and operational health. All of this is to prepare this person for managing the medical needs of the crew on board a submarine. Now, upon completing this course of study, they are eligible for a meritorious advancement to E6, and they can be assigned to an independent duty corpsman billet on an operational submarine. Now, by the time this corpsman has completed this additional year of training, they are basically, for all intents and purposes, a physician's assistant. Hence why an independent duty corpsman on a submarine can do everything from the usual patching and sewing up your bumps and cuts and bruises, to passing out medicine, to even taking out your appendix. So they are much more highly trained than your average corpsman. Now that being said, of course, you'll probably find many stories from submarine sailors who said the corpsman on their submarine was the greatest ever, and others who will probably say, oh, the corpsman on my boat didn't know what the heck he was doing. I don't even know why he was even a corpsman, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, but that is what it takes to be a submarine independent duty corpsman.